Hello. This is Green Beverly with special guest, The Sharing Wheel. And today we have Justin Sandler of Black Earth Compost and Amy Henderson of Beverly Waste Reduction Committee. Hi, Amy. Hi, Justin.
How are you?
Hello.
And Julia.
Hello, from Green Beverly.
And this is part of the EarthSpring series that we've been doing, collaborating, Sharing Wheel and Green Beverly. And Justin, I was trash picking today, and I saw something in the trash I thought you might like.
Oh, please. Surprise.
Because I've seen some
Very
of the your trucks from Black Earth, and one was like it had like a plywood and it was spray painted on the side.
That was my mother painted that years ago, and it's held up well.
And it
so
looks cool. I'm not saying
Excellent.
it's not a critique or anything like that, but I saw this. Now, since you're making homemade signs on the side of your truck,
Yep.
I thought,
Oh, no.
this. You could actually use this in the
That's
kitchen
beautiful.
too.
That's actually quite beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah.
That is pretty groovy.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
we need to accessorize our office trailer in Manchester, too.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that'll...
Desktop?
It could be a desktop or for the lunchroom, maybe a
Yeah.
cutting board for the lunchroom,
excellent.
Cheese.
or
Thank you. That's a cool find.
a small sign for the might be too small for the side of the truck, depending on what type of truck.
We'll
you've
find a
got.
use for that for sure. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And that was found on Lothrop Street, on the
Okay.
corner of Lothrop and Stone at the Lowe's house. Phil Lowe was a famous furniture maker. He passed a couple of years ago. But Sandra has that cool jewelry shop right there on the corner.
Oh, yes.
And her daughter Vivian, who were on the Sharing Wheel, is a clothing maker. So if you ever
Is that Teen 2? Is that what
yes,
that's called?
yeah,
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, wonderful family.
Cool.
So, Justin, explain to me the vertically integrated economy. What is that?
Sure. So, yeah, Black Earth, as the example of that, it's pretty much two businesses, a couple offshoots on each side, formed into one. So it's, half hauling, like the trucking of the raw material is basically its own business. So that's 40 trucks. That's where we're taking in the material, and there's logistics and customer service involved, mechanics. So that's the intake of 350 tons of material each week. And it's like, okay, you've trucked it. Now what are you going to do with it? And so the other side of that vertical integration is the composting sites. And we have 4 compost sites where we process that material in about 6 months. And that's, a team of foremen and staff and picking stations and front-end loaders. And a lot goes into both sides of the whole vertically integrated business.
And then eventually it's sold as product to garden centers and farmers or individual households. So it does like a loop back into where it came from, in a sense.
Exactly. Yeah, we're trying to strengthen that wheel, kind of like to create a circular economy.
Yeah.
So right after the 6 months, then you have compost. Then it's like a whole nother process to find people to purchase it, how to get it out, how to deliver it, how to bag it, how to advertise it. But pretty much thinking of food as a circular economy, bringing the food scrap and the nutrients from the food scrap back into the ground so we can make healthier soil, healthier food, and then, healthier humans is kind of like the ultimate goal here.
Yeah, it's wonderful just how it all works. And Amy, you work with Black Earth Compost
Whenever we can,
whenever
yes.
you can. And Amy, you're part of the Beverly Waste Reduction Committee.
That's correct. Yep. So the Beverly Waste Reduction Committee is a mayor-appointed, city council-approved committee of 9 volunteers, and we look at ways that Beverly can reduce waste. And one of the lowest hanging fruits that we've found is to encourage as many people as possible to compost. There are estimates between 25 to maybe 35, even 40% of the average household trash is made up of compostable food scraps. And when you divert those to Black Earth compost or to a backyard compost. I preferred the curbside pickup myself. I'm busy. So knowing that professionals are producing compost is fabulous.
And how do you fit in with Green Beverly? What's your relationship?
So Beverly Waste Reduction Committee loves Green Beverly. Green Beverly has nimbleness that a city committee doesn't necessarily have. And we also serve as one of their waste reduction and compost coaches. Oh. So when anybody in Beverly has a question about waste reduction or composting, and they reach out to Green Beverly, and Green Beverly sends those questions on to us, and we answer them.
I will add that the Waste Reduction Committee has been wonderful with volunteering as well. That's something that they do regularly anyway, and so Green Beverly is a bit of a conduit for that too. So we get requests from the community to show up and volunteer at different places, and so we collaborate a lot with Waste Reduction Committee on those terms too.
Nice. And then with Black Earth Compost, how did you guys get together? I know you're in the same field, but
you mean Green Beverly and Black Earth?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, we kind of just naturally found each other, I suppose. But Green Beverly was built on the needs of the community, really just listening to what people want and need. And one of the big things that people were into was wondering about compost. And so we knew Black Earth was already going by the time we started 4 years ago. Yeah. And we just struck up a friendship and partnership in different ways. Black Earth has always been there to kind of help us do interesting and creative and weird things and in the community. They've always been receptive to that. So like if we wanted to hold a zero waste event, you were always, open to helping us create the pathways to make that happen. Same with Waste Reduction Committee. So it sort of feels like Green Beverly doesn't ever do anything that's, inventing something new, really. We just really want to highlight what's already happening and going well, because everybody's been working so hard in their own fields. I mean, and this is just part of it. But we work with other arenas as well, and energy and transportation and things like that. But in terms of Black Earth has just been a headliner, a frontliner, paving the way for this kind of new groundbreaking work of getting composting out there.
Yeah, it's like three different approaches, sort of from the city and as a business, and Green Bev is a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're a 501c3 nonprofit. Yep.
Right. So it's fascinating how it kind of sort of synergizes in a way. Mm-hmm. So Black Earth Compost, it employs how many people?
Right around 80 folks.
Wow.
Company-wide. So we operate across three states we haul from, and I think we sell compost in 5 states.
Wow.
So it's a lot of people, starts with our drivers picking up the material. It's a hard job. We got a great dedicated crew to pick up the material. And then, there's customer service on that end, questions from residents. We're always fielding.
Yeah.
And the team and then there's a whole nother team on that other side of the company on the composting side as well. So it's a big group. People are super drawn to the mission, and we've just been expanding since 2011. More residents coming on board, and then more trucks and people.
Mm-hmm. So it started as like one truck, one guy type thing, one person?
Yeah, it was my friend, and he shies away from title of CEO, but CEO Connor Miller started it. I had known him from lifeguarding days at Good Harbor Beach in Gloucester, and he moved to the West Coast and then came back, started this company, he was using his Ford Ranger at the time, and in 2011 the Ford Ranger was a pretty small truck. It's not anymore. Yeah. And that was our go-to vehicle for a bit, and then we got an F-350, and that's, him and I were driving the Beverly route for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I remember. It's amazing to see how it started and what it is now, and what it's becoming. I mean, it seems like I don't know, you guys, you're out in Worcester now, and I know you're at my daughter's college,
Yeah,
Clark.
we're at Clark, right? Yep. So that's like our western perimeter right now in Massachusetts, but we're up in like Keene, New Hampshire, and Nashua, and cover about 75% of Rhode Island as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of food scrap out there, and most of which is being landfilled or incinerated. We have a model that we've proven for 14 years where we want small compost sites, decentralized location of those, so less trucking between where it's produced and where it's processed. And that's what we're trying to replicate throughout where we expand.
And Amy, you mentioned the cost of landfills is
right.
skyrocket.
So,
perhaps,
so
potentially.
so here's the thing: is that Massachusetts landfills are filling up and running out of space, and the Mass DEP estimates that all of our landfills in Massachusetts will be full and closing by 2030, 2032-ish. And because of that, we are already diverting 40% of our waste out of state. It's being trucked by trucks or by train, to the Midwest, including Michigan, and down south, including Virginia, South Carolina, even as far away as Alabama. And the issue with that is, there are climate change issues, which, using fuel to move our stuff around is sort of horrific. But the cost is really increasing pretty rapidly in Massachusetts to get rid of our waste. And some of our waste does go to waste to energy incinerators, and so there's ash as a byproduct. But so much of it's just being shipped out of state, and by 2030, it's all going to be going out of state. And it makes our state vulnerable. And the consumer, the average household's going to see that by 2030. I've heard people say we will experience a really rude awakening as a state because already hauling contracts to haul waste and to haul recycling are going up. Most municipalities either enter into 5 or 10-year contracts with waste haulers. Beverly specifically has one with Republic. We're about to renegotiate next year. And I've seen that prices are going to increase 6 to 6% every single year. And to have a local option for compostable food scraps is really huge. And if everyone started became educated about how to do it properly, but then started composting their food scraps, it would decrease the volume by, say, 25 to 35, 40, even 40%. And as a result, reduce the price.
Yes. It's pretty stark when you think about, because there's such a disconnect, when you when you throw something in the trash barrel. That's it. You're told to throw as a child. Go throw that away, and the word "away" has this connotation that it goes away, it's no longer a problem. And I always said to my kids, "There's no such thing as a trash fairy. Nobody waves their magic wand and poof, it disappears. It just doesn't happen like that. It has to go somewhere, and it either stays in its state or." In the case of food, it can get broken down. If it's broken down properly, it turns into compost, which feeds the soil and draws carbon out of the air. If it's broken down in a landfill, it just produces methane, which is, a greenhouse gas that's, warming our world 85% faster than carbon even is. And Justin, there's a new site that you opened. I know it was a long time in the making, but in Manchester, you have a new site there for. Yeah,
that's where. It's I think it's called the Manchester Regional Compost Facility. So it processes material from surrounding towns. That's where Beverly's material goes. So part of the conversation of where the trash goes is, you can take 40% out, and instead of that ending up in a hole in Alabama, in Beverly's case, it can end up not only turning into compost, but turning into compost 10 minutes down the road too. So it's lower trucking distance as well.
Right.
We're on top of an old landfill.
Which is
and
wonderful.
I did a school tour with the school from Brookline 2 days ago, And one of the students asked like a pretty profound question was, isn't there something poetic about composting on a landfill? I'm like, that is such a good way to think about this, because it's like the old guard kind of going away into this new form of processing on top of a landfill. So, we're operating, that landfill was capped in like 92. And on top of material that could have been compostable or composted. Part of the issue, Massachusetts has the most expensive trash in the country, and it's set to get even higher. Right. Again, let's take 40% out and make something out of it.
And you collaborated with the town of Manchester and the state of Massachusetts, and also a GoFundMe to also kind of...
pretty much every level of government was involved in that.
Awesome.
So even from the federal perspective, there was a grant. Part of the Inflation Reduction Act was a carve out for domestic fertilizer creation, which compost is. So we were able to get some money from the federal level to help build that site. And there was, like a Kickstarter. I think we used a different platform for it. I forget what it was called.
GoFundMe or something.
GoFundMe, right? Where it was, I think there was over 1,000 donations, a couple substantial ones, but like a big network of people that were putting their money into this. We're a private company, but they wanted to put money into a company that was aligned with the mission of reducing waste and making compost. So raised some money there, some private loans, and we built it, and it's running, and it's running well.
It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
I was at the tour, the ribbon cutting tour. It was really amazing. Amazing.
Cool.
And there is another tour coming up, I believe. I was trying to figure it out on my phone. I think it's the 17th of April.
Yeah, we get quite a few requests from folks who want to come see it, which is awesome. So we do have like set dates for when folks can come up. But if you reach out to us, and we're happy to show you what we're doing. It's a really unique site. I mean, it's a big 10,000 square foot building, aerated floors, biofiltration, so it doesn't smell. I mean, it's relatively low tech to what the potential of current technology is now, but we're expediting what Mother's Nature's process already is of composting, a controlled environment.
Right.
Yeah, it's got a roof, which is really important for us.
Electricity.
Yes. Yes. I mean, we operated for years without these kind of
low
foundational things.
Yeah. Because I'd spoken to you earlier about the is that anaerobic
Digestion.
Digestion. That's like energy intensive.
So what can we do with food scrap? If we're removing it. And then where does it go? Does it go towards compost? So where compost is kind of thrown out a lot, but compost is a process that creates compost. You can put your food scraps towards anaerobic digestion. It's a great way to lower the amount of food scrap in the trash. It's not composting. It creates methane, which is captured and turned into electricity eventually.
What about the in between? Can I jump in? There's if you have food scraps, sometimes people just take it and put it in whatever that compost sort of process is. But I would like to just say there's sometimes an in between step, and you can create from your food scraps. You can create broth or like stock, right? Before you do something else with it. Or if you have chickens or something, it can go to feed them in place of, you know what I mean? So there's more to this than just the compost. And of course it turns into other stuff anyway, whether it's waste from the chickens or just more compost that's depleted of some of its nutrients for the stock. But I think that's worth mentioning is that like there's some other creative steps you can take too.
Absolutely. There is like a hierarchy of how it should be handled. Animal feed, or actually, prevent it in the first place, would be more aware of what you're buying and what is expiring too quickly. It's usually like leafy greens go the quickest.
Faster.
So just if you're going to be making salad soon, buy it then. But then from there, it's feed people ideally with there's a ton of great donation companies out there. Feed animals, then compost and anaerobic digest.
And Amy, has the Waste Reduction Committee thought about the chickens in Beverly? Yeah, what do you guys think of
That
how that would play
actually
out?
that actually was not an idea that had crossed my plate before today.
Yeah.
Certainly, it's definitely a creative idea, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, I think chickens are fabulous, and I'm sure our local predators would think so as well.
Hawks,
But
yeah.
but
Right.
no, chickens are excellent. I have many friends who have chickens at their houses, and it's a great way to get rid of food scraps as well, and,
Yeah.
and then generate more food with
Yeah.
the form of eggs.
Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah. And
This
are they
time-
noisy? Are they chickens noisy, or is it?
We have some at our site in Groton. We're experimenting with like how to integrate them more.
Yeah.
Yes, they're noisy, and yes, there are hungry coyotes. And
Okay.
out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
so.
So they do have
Hawks.
a. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
And what else? What are you guys thinking about in terms of reduction? What would you like to see?
Oh, well, so as I mentioned earlier, our contract, the City of Beverly's contract with our waste hauler is up, and I would love to see new creative ideas, including supporting more composting, more curbside composting. Yeah, there are a lot of ideas. I think one thing that Beverly is going to be faced with is the fact that we're probably going to have to go to automated trash pickup, which means that our trash will be in barrels. The trucks will come down the road, little arms will come out from the trucks,
Right.
pick up the barrels, tip them in,
Yeah.
set them back down.
Okay.
So the days of putting just a trash bag on the side of the road are probably short-lived in
Okay.
Beverly, or overflowing trash cans, short-lived. So one thing I would like to see is to incentivize composting over throwing things in the trash. We also, the Waste Reduction Committee has a long history of working with the Homecoming Committee in Beverly, specifically at Lobster Fest,
Yeah.
and running that as a zero waste event. For 2,000 meals served, the Waste Reduction Committee works closely with Black Earth Compost and the caterer. We make sure that all the composting plates and utensils are certified compostable, and we sort everything at the event.
Yep.
And Black Earth Compost usually hauls, 64-gallon barrels of compostable food scraps from the event. We separate out recyclables, returnable cans and bottles, cardboard, plastic wrap, and at the end of a 2,000-person event, we walk away with one bag of trash.
Oh my gosh.
And
Wow.
we've expanded that. We work with Green Beverly, with their pumpkin smash. We worked with Green Beverly to produce a short video on how to do zero waste events. So we are trying to expand that to some of the Beverly Main Street events. Meeting with Beverly Main Street soon to talk about Arts Fest as close to zero waste as we can
Sure,
make it.
sure,
I mean,
sure.
there's no
Yeah,
such
yeah.
thing as true zero waste. You're always going to walk away with a little bit of trash, but the idea is to take
Yeah.
what's coming in and divert it to its highest and best use.
Sure.
So if you're getting food scraps, that
Yeah.
highest and best use is compost.
I would, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think any large event that the city does, that should be the model. Where
Absolutely,
You know.
that would make us very happy.
Yeah.
Yes, and we
Yeah.
have equipment that people can borrow anytime. We're on the city website under all the committees. It's the Beverly Waste Reduction Committee. The email for our committee is there, and you can email us and say, "Hey, I want to do a zero waste block party," and we can show you our video, walk through how to do that, and how to
right.
divert things properly.
Right, because then it could be it could be training, and then also reduction, right? Immediate reduction.
Right. We're working with a private, with a woman who's running a vegan market in May and doing that as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. Now, I would think, just in my own household, eating leftovers is a
Yes.
eat all that
Sometimes that's the
oatmeal
basic
and-
challenge.
right? And
First
and
challenge.
then if it's in the fridge, eat it for lunch. The next day. So keep it out of kind of landfill. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Beverly Middle School reached out to Green Beverly recently and brought us in as well and said, how can we compost?
Yeah.
And, the teachers have certainly been through a lot this year. So not wanting to put too much pressure on them, they mentioned that there's often a lot of untouched fruit that ends up in the garbage every day.
Yeah.
And I said, well, really the first thing to do is, as Justin mentioned in the hierarchy, divert that food to people who need the food.
Right.
And so Green Beverly and Beverly Bootstraps, Green Beverly got in touch with Beverly Bootstraps. Beverly Bootstraps is taking some of that food.
Nice.
And already, I think weekly there are 2 pickups a week, and I know the first time I did a pickup, it was 60 pounds of food.
Oh, wow.
And I know yesterday's pickup was like 40 pounds of food. So just diverting food.
It's
and certainly restaurants
win-win.
can do that.
Yeah.
I would love to see more restaurants in Beverly using Black Earth's services.
Sure. Yeah.
And Justin, you touched on this, in our earlier conversation, but Massachusetts bans food scraps from landfills if you produce more than a ton a week.
Right.
And in November of 22, they reduced that to half a ton a week.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, and I have heard Mass Department of Environmental Protection officials say that by 2030 they're thinking about making a ban across the board for all households. But it's something that people need to work up to. People need to, it needs to become a habit like anything.
Yeah. Well, there's a financial incentive to do it, right, for the resident, because we're going to pay for it.
Yes, we will pay for it one way or another. And
Yeah.
and curbside composting is certainly less expensive than hauling our waste to Alabama.
And even with the curbside, you register for it, you sign up for it, which it's well-deserved money. But there's also a free option. So if you don't want to pay for the service in front of your own home, or if you live in a place that doesn't work with the composting, maybe a multi-unit family home or something, you can drop it off downtown in one of 2 places. Is it just 2 places, I think?
I think it's still 2
3
places.
Yeah,
Nice.
okay.
There's a third spot, but it's a private third spot.
Yeah, so if you could bring your stuff to Bessie Baker Park or behind the city hall.
That's correct.
And just go online, and the city website will have a little short quiz that you fill out to make sure that you understand what goes in and what doesn't go in. And then you get the code and you can open the lock and drop it off for free. So there really is no excuse
It's
for
probably,
not composting.
Yeah.
And people will say to me, but it's gross, it smells. And I think you put the same stuff in your kitchen garbage can. How is this any grosser or smellier? Because it's really not. And in fact, I find it less so because it's a smaller bin. I take it out more frequently. And I know that some people are concerned about smell, and I've never had that issue, but they'll put it in the freezer until it's time for the compost to be picked up.
Justin, what types of things could people do to like knock down the smell or even fruit flies?
You just mentioned that's the ultimate pro move is to, if you have like space in your freezer, that's what I do.
Okay, gotcha.
Have a bowl in there and then put that out when the day comes. Being aware of flies tend to like heavy liquid. So try to be aware of putting a little less liquid in the bin, perhaps baking soda on there.
Oh, okay.
But really freezing is and you don't have to freeze everything, just freeze things that flies might like the meat or things of that nature.
Yeah.
If space is limited. And then, it's a habit formation kind of thing. And we've, barely, and it's around 1% is the number of people that once they start, they stop. 1% of it, we haul from 40,000 residents. So it's, once you change that habit, it's once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
So once you just got to start doing it, and then all the excuses for not doing it just become, very minimal.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to go back.
Oh. Oh, I'm away from the mic. Excuse me. So we're coming towards the end. Anything else on you guys' mind would you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, we talked mainly about like the pickup of the material, but to get folks growing their own food, I mean, during COVID, we realized how fragile even like not just our waste systems are, but like our local food systems. What's more local than growing food if you have space in like even a 5-gallon bucket or a raised bed. So, you know, during that time, we came up with the idea to start prefabricating raised garden beds for folks that, you know, you can order one, go to work, and then you come back and you have a raised garden bed ready. And so we do that. We can build it and fill it with our soil blend. If you already have a bed, we built this kind of Frankenstein truck with a conveyor belt in the bed that can spit out half a yard of compost. So before the minimum order was like 3 yards, got that down to half a yard. I think half a yard's like $70, which is like a good amount of material. It's like 15 bags of our compost at a pretty low price. So thinking about, you know, what's better than gardening in the sunshine on the North Shore here.
Sure.
So ways to help folks figure out garden beds and plots like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool.
And just to add to that, I got Black Earth Compost's 50-50 blend and started gardening during COVID, and it just, the produce is amazing. I mean, it's not me, it's the soil. And you know, big picture, the future of humanity comes down to the quality of our soil. And using compost, closing that loop is so important, not just in your own garden. You know, you can replace fertilizer that way as well. But I mean, you know, sort of nationwide on open spaces, there's a town I know in Florida that mandates the use of compost on all new building projects, landscaping projects, because they found that compost in the soil helps the soil absorb water, particularly during heavy downpours. And there was some study in California that said half an inch of compost spread out over all of, or maybe it was like 6 million acres of farmland in California could actually offset all of the carbon emissions from the industry.
Right.
So it's really powerful stuff, and it's simple but powerful.
Right. Yeah.
I would like to add too. There's a really great movie called Kiss the Ground, and that is going to be free for anyone who has access to Amazon Prime. I'm sorry for that barrier, but if you know someone who has access to it, or if you have access to it, on Earth Day, April 22nd, that movie will be free. And there's a companion movie now out called Common Ground, and that is sort of brand new, groundbreaking, so to speak. That will also be free, just for Earth Day. And then in the fall, Waste Reduction Committee and Green Beverly and a few other partners will be showing Kiss the Ground at the Cabot Theater. And that's going to be right after the Pumpkin Smash, which is November 9th. So it's probably going to be November 12th, this movie at the Cabot. But this is a really important thing to sort of, if you can, try and see it. It helps. It really helped me, and it helped a lot of people I know with really understanding the big picture of what soil, the importance of soil and protection of the soil and composting.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a fun night out or two, right? And you get to go to the Cabot, which is always fun.
Totally.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the customers. They've been composting with us for quite some time at the Cabot, and it takes quite a bit of work for a busy spot like that with a lot of different people coming in and out to pull it off. But then we're just, shout out to Delphine's as well, where we got coffee before, another.
Love Delphine's. Love the Cabot.
Composter as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Amy and Justin and Julia. Before we sign off, any last comments?
No, I guess if you're in Beverly and you have questions about composting, and obviously reach out to Green Beverly, reach out to Black Earth Compost, or reach out to the Waste Reduction Committee. We're happy to get you going on your journey.
Awesome. And we'll edit in your contact info, so people will be able to get in touch with you.
Yeah, our website has a ton of great info, and we don't have time to get into it now, but there are other things that we're taking out of the waste stream, such as textiles and electronics with our Charm Pickup program, which comes by and picks up
Really?
cables and
Oh, wow.
old laptops and things like that.
Okay.
As well.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And you guys did like a styrofoam. Did you do a styrofoam event fairly recently?
So the city of Beverly works with the city of Salem, and the first Saturday in January, if it's not the first, but the first Saturday in January and then the third Saturday in June,
Okay.
we alternate locations, but we collect styrofoam.
Right.
That goes down to Save That Stuff in Charlestown, and they compress it and turn it into the liners for walk-in refrigerators and freezers, and then
Oh.
also boat furniture, among other things.
Boat furniture.
So it's a great
wow.
way to
Yeah.
keep styrofoam out of the waste stream.
Cool. Nice. Well, hey, thanks a million, guys. Really interesting. And what's good about doing a podcast is I get to learn all this. So it helps me personally.
Thanks for my gift
Thank
as well.
you, John.
Oh, sure.
I'll
Yeah.
take that back.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for watching our podcast. If you liked what you saw today, please feel free to go to greenbeverly.org/events to learn more about what's coming up for EarthSpring and other events. Or
If you'd like to support Green Beverly, check out our monthly newsletter. Subscribe to our monthly newsletter on greenbeverly.org. Volunteer or support us as a sustaining member. Also available on greenbeverly.org. Thank you for watching.